Look at a photograph of yourself from 10 years ago. Now look in the mirror. Are you looking at the same person? Your immediate answer is probably yes, of course. But think about it. Almost every cell in your body has been replaced since then. The thoughts you had, the beliefs you held, the dreams you pursued, many of them have changed, evolved, or vanished completely. You have different memories, different scars, a different way of seeing the world. So, if every part of you is different, what is the you that has persisted through time? What connects the child in the photograph to the person listening to this right now? This question is not new. It's an ancient puzzle, a paradox so profound it haunts us to this day. It's known as the Ship of Theseus. The legend, as told by the historian Plutarch, goes like this. The great Athenian hero Theseus returned from his journey where he slew the Minotaur. The ship he sailed on, a magnificent 30-oared vessel, was preserved by the people of Athens as a memorial. For centuries, it stood in the harbor, a symbol of their history and identity. But time is relentless. The wooden planks of the ship began to rot. To preserve the memorial, the Athenians would carefully replace each decaying plank with a new, identical one. A new piece of oak for an old piece of oak. A new cypress beam for a rotten one. This process continued for hundreds of years. One by one, every single original piece of the ship was eventually replaced. And this led the philosophers of Athens to ask a troubling question. Is this still the Ship of Theseus? If you say yes, then you must accept that an object can be self even if none of its original parts remain. But if you say no, then at what exact moment did it cease to be the Ship of Theseus? When the first plank was replaced? The 50th? The 501st? Was there a single plank that held the shipness of the ship? There's no logical answer. The change was gradual, imperceptible. The philosopher Thomas Hobbes added another layer to the paradox. What if, he asked, someone had been collecting all the old, discarded planks? And what if, after all the original parts were replaced, that person used them to reassemble the original ship? Now you have two ships. Which one is the time's real time's Ship of Theseus? The one standing in the harbor, which has been continuously maintained and holds the title and function? Or the one reassembled from all the original matter, which has the physical continuity? Our intuition is torn apart. Both have a legitimate claim to the title. This ancient puzzle would be just a philosopher's game, if not for one crucial fact. We are all ships of Theseus. Every 7 to 10 years, most of the cells in your body are replaced. The atoms that make you up are constantly being swapped out with the food you eat, the water you drink, the air you breathe. The physical stuff that you were made of as a child is almost entirely gone. You are a walking, breathing, continuous renovation project. So, if you are not your body, not the collection of atoms, then what are you? Maybe you are your memories. The philosopher John Locke argued that our identity is tied to our consciousness, and specifically, our memories. You are the same person as the child in the photo because you remember being that child. Your memories create a chain of consciousness that stretches back in time, linking all your past selves into a single identity. But this idea has its own problems. What about memories you've forgotten? Are you no longer the person who experienced those moments? What about false memories? Things you are certain happened but never did. And what about people who suffer from amnesia? If a man loses all his memories, is he no longer himself? His family will still recognize him, love him. For them, he's the same person, but for himself, he's a stranger. Identity, it seems, is not just what we remember, but also what others remember of us. Perhaps then Our identity isn't a static thing at all, like a ship or a collection of memories. Perhaps it's more like a story, the story you tell yourself about yourself. You are the narrator of your own life. You take all the disparate parts, your changing body, your fragmented memories, your evolving beliefs, and you weave them into a coherent narrative. I was a shy child, but then I gained confidence. I used to believe this, but life taught me otherwise. This story has a protagonist, you, who persists through all the changes. As long as the story continues, so do you. This also explains why we feel like a different person after a major life event, like a trauma or a profound spiritual experience. The old story has ended, and we are forced to start writing a new one. This ancient paradox is becoming more urgent in our modern world. Think about your digital identity. Your social media profile is a curated version of you, a story you tell to the world. For many, this digital self feels just as real, if not more so, than their physical one. If you change your profile, your username, your online persona, are you creating a new identity? And what about the future? As we merge more with technology, the paradox will intensify. If you replace a failing part of your brain with a neural implant, are you still you? What if you replace another? At what point does the human give way to the machine? What if one day you could upload your consciousness to a computer, leaving your biological body behind? Where would you be then? In the dying brain or in the digital code? The ship of Theseus will no longer be a metaphor. It will be the central question of our existence. So, is there an answer? The philosopher Heraclitus, who lived even before Plutarch, famously said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man." Perhaps the paradox exists only because we have the wrong idea about what it means to be. We think of ourselves as a static object, a noun. But maybe we are not an object at all. Maybe we are a process, a verb. We are not a ship. We are the time sailing asterisk. We are not a finished story. We are the times telling asterisk. The connection between you and your past self is not a physical link or a perfect chain of memory. It's the continuity of the process, the flow of the river. You are not the same person you were 10 years ago. And yet, you are undeniably, beautifully you. And the journey continues.